Well, hi there, and welcome to another edition of What's the Word? I'm Tom Malone, and I'm joined this week by Shane Mann from our sponsors, Ladbrokes, David Jennings, and of course Johnny Ward. Looking forward to a derby weekend, a couple of classics to look ahead to from Epsom. Before we do, though, look back at a classic weekend, and you, both the two, you can take a little moment here to brag if you want. Alpha Centauri, nicely done.
Yeah, probably just had our ground, and I think met a vulnerable enough favourite maybe in hindsight, and what a performance from Jessica Harrington. She just, just keeps pulling it out of the fire, and she seems to be going better as a trainer than ever. Highlight of the weekend was seeing Pat Smullen racing. That was just phenomenal, and chatted away. He hasn't taken his eye off the ball anyway. I think he's nearly as much involved as he ever was with how these horses are going, and love a big eye in DK's horse in the Derby.
Yeah, absolutely. You see him with social media with Frankie, keeping an eye on Frankie, probably giving him a little steer on how to ride the horse.
He's an absolute colossus, a true legend of racing, it has to be said, and that was definitely the highlight of the weekend.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to see him out in the car, wasn't it? David, you can brag too.
Yeah, not quite like Johnny. No, Salt and Stall was my one on Sunday, but wasn't a 33-1 poke like Johnny, who I gave no chance to whatsoever, which added to your claims.
Just ground, I suppose, but in fairness, Kate Harrington gave a very bullish assessment of the horse, and I just thought she had to improve as a 3-year-old or something.
They
just
really
didn't
like
make
that
sense.
video, though, especially from last year.
Big win for Master Craftsman as well. But,
absolutely, Coolmore winning all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you learn, well, since those great days, because they were a heady weekend for you, have you learned anything since during the week?
In general, you have to take the good with the bad when it comes to punting anyway. I've had a few near misses this week.
A wonderful day during the week. That magical, 16-runner handicaps, did you make the most of that?
They whittled down to about 3 or 4 in the end, but the shops that pay, special odds in the Lucky 15, it's well worth having a bet, and in fairness to Ladbrokes, they're the only shop that actually guarantees your multiple from 12 to 2.
Each
That's
day,
a huge incentive.
Do you need new shoes after all the walking around you did that morning, do you?
It was straightforward enough actually, but it's some days when, especially when there are 2 Irish meetings, a great incentive, and got a few bob, but thought I would have gotten more.
Okay. You were daring to dream at one stage.
I was.
Jenna, what about you? Did you learn anything during the week?
I did. I learned a thing or two about my wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I watched
Get dressed with the lights on.
Yeah, I watched back last weekend's show, and I myself was horrified.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mint green doesn't go with beige slacks. Just doesn't go.
Did you not put it on though in the first place?
I did, yeah, but obviously I was looking into a mirror with maybe my curtains closed in the morning. And the funny thing is, the comments underneath, somebody said Stevie Wonder wouldn't have got dressed like that. And usually you'd be really angry with comments.
Yeah.
I was like, that fella is so right.
I'm going to follow him.
I was looking horrified.
I have to unblock him first. But
I was looking at myself going, how am I getting married? I was like, who would marry that?
Well,
yeah, so
lucky Aoife.
This week, I've gone very safe. I said I'd go for a bit of navy because apparently it's slimming. Is it slimming? Yeah. And so I played it very, very safe, which I think looks better.
Okay.
Yeah, my friend got a coat for Christmas and his mother got it for him. She said, it'll suit you, it's very slimming.
Brilliant. What a backhanded compliment that is. Something that's been in the news actually a little bit recently, it's about racing jargon. And obviously, we're in the industry, so we don't really get the sort of outsider's perspective on things. Do you think it is a little barrier to entry for fans, Johnny?
I might be a bit different, but I found it intriguing when I didn't understand what it meant. And I loved the old anachronistic way of PJ Smullen and El Dottore and all that. And I really resented them getting their first names in the race card because
you had to learn it.
That only came in more recently, didn't it?
Yeah, a few years ago. And they're obviously trying to make racing more. I think that the motivation behind it is sound, but I think I just think in racing at times we're too worked up about promoting ourselves and making it it's a great sport. We do a decent job promoting it. We should maybe spend more time telling the stories of the likes of John Kiley and Kevin Prendergast was 86 next week, rather than changing, how you pronounce the weight or whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. What are your thoughts, David?
No, I don't agree with the jockeys' names. I think people need to know their first names. I want to
know.
Because it's their names.
Yeah.
It's no point in me going P. Ward when your name is Johnny Ward. Do you know, it just makes sense. I think the world has moved on.
Why would they have had them in the first place then? The El Dottores and...
Lanfranco.
Lanfranco,
He's known by Frankie. Really.
So would it be? Yeah, I always liked that, like, you know, and it was just something unique to racing, and it was very old style. And racing's quite old.
I love the way Ruby kept the oar.
Yeah. Some of the hard men, they wouldn't budge.
Refused.
No.
Refused. Let's move on to the classic action this weekend. Friday, it's Oaks Day. Looking forward to that. Right, Shane, let's start with some prices for the Oaks.
Yeah, an open enough renewal this year, Tom. Wild Illusion 5-2, the current market leader. Magic Wand 4-1. Forever Together 9-2. Bye Bye Baby 6-1. Perfect Clarity 13-2. Give and Take 10s. I Can Fly 14s. SGA 18-1. Flattering 28.
Anyone that had an anti-post bet probably during the winter, I suppose that slips in the bin, or even before 4 weeks ago, that slipped might nearly in the bin.
Shocker. April 1st, April Fool's Day. 7 of the top 8 horses in the betting for the Oaks are not running. That hard to believe. That's only 2 months ago.
That's incredible.
7 of the top 8 in the betting.
I fancied 3 of them and back 2 of them.
Yeah, at the time, obviously, you had Magical, Happily, September. Like, there was so many that you could ream off. And funny enough, my most recent fancy was Sea of Class. And Sea of Class is now gone as well. So
Would you have run her?
I think she's a touch of class. I don't think this will take much winning, and it's funny, the one I'm leaning on now is a maiden, which is hard to believe. I'm starting to fancy Forever Together. Look back, obviously she's a full sister to Together Forever, and Together Forever's best performance, I thought, came in the Curragh unyielding ground when she won a listed race. I think she won by 3 lengths that day. She beat Cocoon, and I think she'll cope with the ground. It's interesting, when I watched the Cheshire Oaks that Magic Wand won, straight after the race, like, Magic Wand won convincingly.
Yeah. And
I was watching the race and I said, you know what, they're going to be so much closer together at Epsom. And straight after the race, Jason Weaver said, I want to be with Forever Together. He said, I think she could reverse that form. And I was thinking exactly the same. And if me and Jason Weaver are thinking the same,
yeah, absolutely.
the stars are aligned.
Yeah, the stars.
So it is aligned. Forever Together to give Donica a first Oaks for me.
Yeah, Together Forever won in her 4th start as well. In a weird thing. There
we go. What could possibly go wrong?
What exactly? Jason Weaver, completely useless trend stat altogether.
A strange one on Donica, actually. I know the aforementioned horse who we always Clear Skies, when she was beaten at Gorn during the week, it was a bit of a nightmare for Donica. But I was just watching him. He rides Gorn really, really well, I have to say. Like, if you're
3 winners.
Yeah, and it's I think it's probably the trickiest track in Ireland for a flat jockey. It's so up and down and tight and blah blah blah.
The bend comes at you quite quick.
Yeah,
in a few of them as well.
And if it's a real pace-wise track. But Donica's riding very well at the moment. I don't think there's much between these two. I don't know if any of the O'Brien horses are really top notch. And it's a little bit like the Derby. If the favourite wins. If the favourite stays, it'll probably win.
Yeah.
And on Pedigree, Wild Illusion is a certainty to say. But, you know, she ran in the Guineas. This is a fairly quick turnaround to go 1.5 miles at Epsom. So I'm going to take her on with Atea. You know, the Simcock horse. Frankel, obviously, it'll be a big win for Frankel, who has Cracksman as well. And just at the prices, I know you're a bit sweet as well.
1, yeah, from 20s.
Ran the Musadora. She was very fresh. Like, she was quite keen in the first 2 furlongs. Won her side of the well, it was actually a small field, but they went two sides. She won her side.
Far side, yeah,
she's by Frankel. She will stay, like, and I think she'll come on a lot from that. And won her maiden in the manner of a nice prospect, and be an interesting one for Jamie Spencer as well. You know, it's probably a long time since he was a classic winner. It could be, yeah. I mean, and you know, obviously
that was great though. Suriska gave it a little wave at the Curragh
before she turned into a rogue. But I'm with the Tay. I just think they're a bit of a muchness. And Magic Wand and Bye Bye Baby had pretty soft time of it up front in their respective trials, particularly Magic Wand. And with Geno, I don't think there'll be much between the two of them.
I think she'll want soft ground as well, because wasn't SGA pulled out of a race at Linkfield, a listed race at Linkfield due to the good to firm ground, so it's clearly an issue.
Cool. Well, let's get some selections along the line then. Shane, who are you going with?
SGA with me. For me, Tom, yeah.
Forever Together.
Forever Together.
SGA as well.
And I am going with Perfect Clarity. I think Clive Cox is genuinely one of the best trainers in the UK.
Same stallion as last year's winner.
Yeah, absolutely, by Nathaniel. Another use of stat, just like they're together for everyone. Right, let's get on to the Coronation Cup. Frankel fever continues. Got a bad dose of it yourself, Johnny. Can you look past?
Well, I think he'll be a sensational stallion. You know, although they do seem to want a bit more distance, maybe than would be commercially kind of, I suppose, aspired towards. But yeah, I just think they've a lot of class. Just getting a call from someone there, but this horse is just miles clear of these.
Show the camera.
That's where it's on the camera. Can you see?
WP
Mullins.
What's that in relation to now?
Calling him as well.
Well,
What's that in relation to now?
it's not in relation to a few bottles of Armagnac.
Carlo G.A. maybe.
But maybe it is. But Cracksman, I love the horse. Probably will win the Arc, I think. And what a clash that might be. But I don't see any downside to him here. He's bulletproof.
Can you put any bet in the race, or we just stick him in all your multiples?
Put him into your multiples. Yeah, put him into the multiple I'll give later on. It'll be a cross-sport multiple, I think.
Okie doke. Jenno, can you look past Cracksman?
Cracksman will win, but there is a horse in this race that we haven't seen the best of yet, and I'm convinced that Yucatan is a far better horse than we've seen so far. It's been a gradual process, and last time out, the race was run to suit Cliffs of Moher at Naas when Shamey took on Success Days up front, and it completely played into the hands of Cliffs of Moher. And even first time out, when it was beaten by Capri, it was just a learning curve for Donncha. I just think if you go back to his form last year, it was second to Capri on really heavy ground in the Beresford. It'll handle conditions, and it is improving. Probably, obviously not good enough to beat Cracksman, but I just wouldn't be surprised if Idaho and Yucatan, if there wasn't a great deal between them. Like, you're talking 25, 33s maybe. There's only 6 runners, so it's a bit of a disaster from an each-way perspective. But if you could get maybe...
It's not that bad, General. Like, you're still getting... If it's 20-1, you're getting 5-1 if finished in the first two.
Yeah, and you might be able to get maybe 8-1 without or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Yucatan will run a cracker. I really do. I think he's a good horse that we haven't seen the best
You do
of.
very well to get 8-1 without now. Do very well.
That's 33s.
9-2. Yeah.
I'll look.
Shane, could you see past Cracksman in the Coronation Cup?
As Johnny mentioned, one for your multiples. We're best odds guaranteed on your multis between 12 and 2. He's 3-1 on currently with Ladbrokes. So
are you going to put some up in the forecast?
I had a look at this race earlier on. There's a German horse in here, Winstoss, currently 33-1. Now, albeit it has the best part of a stone on official figures to find with Cracksman, but reappearance was good, beating only a length on good ground. I think that was at Hamburg. Is a Group 1 winner in Germany on soft ground, and it will be soft ground. Yes, so at a big price, 33s without 33s for the win. He'll be shorter without.
Giving good prices
yeah.
here today.
Anyway, Idaho finishes second. Don't worry about that. Idaho finishes second. That's what's going to happen in the Coronation Cup. Any other bets for us on Friday?
I have a bet in the Dash.
That's on Saturday.
I want to bring that in now.
Yeah. No, I have a few for Friday.
For Friday, yeah.
Yeah, in the Woodcut, I'd be pretty sweet on Mendoza. Brian Meehan's Oisin Murphy rides, was third at Newbury, slowly away, proper education. Brian Meehan's don't tend to win first time out. I think Mendoza has loads of improvement and could be quite useful, I thought. And later on in the card, in the finale, it's the Investec Zebra handicap. Clubbable has only gone up £4 for winning, I thought, quite snugly at York. It's gone up to 84 from 81. It's by Mason, so it should handle the ground. And Patrick Mathers rides for Richard Fahey. I just think has got the winning tread and struggled to win last season, was second on a load of occasions, but fairly versatile now. I think Clubbable will win the finale on Friday.
I'm going to give a soccer tip Friday.
Soccer tip Friday, yeah.
Sligo Rovers to beat Derry. They're something like 5-1, 11-2.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Match
Friday night.
5-1, yeah.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to Saturday, Derby Day, one of the greatest days of the year. Before we get on to the Derby at Epsom, though, we'll start with the Dash, because we talk about idiosyncrasies in racing, and there are a few quite like the Epsom Dash.
That's why, Boom the Groom has made so much appeal. Bang there the last day, and he's well handicapped on previous form. Just must have a big chance. It's a crazy race, obviously, but very, very watchable.
Fastest 5 furlongs.
In the world,
yeah. It's downhill.
Basically for four furlong
like
horses. Brilliant, yeah.
But
some spectacle.
Yeah.
Do you have a selection?
Just like the Dash, Tom, my comments on this race won't take very long. I fancy nothing.
You fancy nothing? Okie doke. Shane, do you have a selection?
Caspian Prince.
Yeah, very good.
Multiple winner of this race before. It's only it's actually a pound lower for winning this race last year. Fantastic record at the track. 4 wins out of 5 at Epsom. That'll do for me.
By Dylan Thomas.
8-1 by Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, obvious speed in the side side.
What age is that horse?
Yeah, he's 9 or 10, I think.
Right, let's move on to the Derby itself. We give us some prices. Saxon Warrior is a bit of a price, isn't he?
Yeah, evens now, Tom, from 4 to 6 overnight. Coming out of stall 1, not the best history from that stall in recent memory. Young Rascal gone into 15-2 for mates. Roaring Lion 8-1. 9-1 Hazaport. 10's about Delana Roosevelt. It's 16-1 bar. 12 of them in the lineup this year.
Okay, you mentioned Camelot. Saxon Warrior looking to do the same, can he?
Yeah, I think he can, yeah. Is it 0 from 126 from stall 1? Is that the stat?
Not in 12-runner fields normally, I suppose.
In double-figure fields.
That's mad.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like it's a draw.
I better
match.
check that stat, actually. I read it somewhere on Twitter. Go to somebody else there and I'll check it.
It wouldn't overly
Sounds
worry
a
me,
bit
though.
mental.
And he just seems fairly straightforward.
One definitely has a dreadful record.
Well,
that
the
is
small, as Johnny
true.
mentioned, the small field will kind of take out that conundrum.
Let's be honest.
Really,
I mean, tactically, the race
Yeah.
will be running a certain way, to put it euphemistically.
Yeah.
And he's straightforward. Like he's one of those horses. If he went to 11-8, I'd nearly back him, but I wouldn't have had him at odds on. Kind of. I think stamina is definitely an issue. You know, his sister and Dam didn't stay a mile and a half, and that's an issue for me.
Just to mention briefly as well, and we have Benton without in on this race as well. We go Hazapur 7-2 without, Young Rascal 7-2 without, Roaring Line 4-1, 7-1 Delano Roosevelt, and 9-1 Night to Behold.
Okie doke. Are you going to look to the without market, or are you just going to stick with Dave?
I
Still
like.
looking for that.
He's still looking for that stat.
I like Young Rascal. I think the ground has probably come right for him, and that's a major plus. Willie Haggs' horses are absolutely bombing at the moment. Maybe he had his way in the Oaksville, he didn't run. I mean, that might be a questionable one, but this horse is made for the Derby, you know, and I loved his run at Chester. He had plenty more in hand than the winning margin. By Intello, it'd be his first Derby winner, but he's no doubt about stamina. And I think...
What are you tipping there? I wasn't listening.
Young Rascal.
Young Rascal.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
have you
I
got your stat?
found it.
Okay,
I got
okay.
that stat completely wrong. But it's,
What?
It's just
I find
as
that hard
good.
to believe. Go on.
Hugh Taylor, the incredible at the races tipster, who
Yeah.
is in profit every year, he says that my annual reminder that stall 1 is 0 from 104 in double figure fields over a mile and a half at Epsom since 2000. So no horse has won from stall 1 since 2000 in a mile and a half race at Epsom. So that's quite a stat to overcome.
Yeah.
Since 2000.
Since 2000.
That's
after there to be
insane.
broken.
It's incredible.
That is insane.
They're there to be broken.
Yeah.
He is an incredible racehorse, and I think he would probably win. And if he's odds against, it's going to be
It
one
will
of
be odds against it.
It's one of
them.
them ones.
Ground concerns as well as the stall, don't forget. So
It's one of these ones where you're going to be saying, oh, do you know what, I'm going to have to back this horse just because we're looking at it a 4-6 for so long. The one horse I think there is so much improvement in is Delano Roosevelt. I just thought everything about him, a little bit like Forever Together in the Oaks. It's been a gradual process, just getting ready to peak. I think Delano Roosevelt is the one that will cope best with conditions. And you know what? The run last year in the Beresford behind Saxon Warrior was a cracking run as well. And I think he's getting better, Delano Roosevelt. And I think he'll be ridden with plenty of restraint and will creep into the race. And at a double figure price, he's the one that I think will run a cracker.
We both tipped up Kew Gardens, I think, in various places for the Ledger. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran into the tree.
25-1.
You'd have
He
to think
lost
that Delano Roosevelt
lost
and
his
Kew
shoe.
Gardens are exactly the kind of horses that will pick up second, third, or fourth in this race.
I
He
get
might-
the impression that Delano Roosevelt has improved past Kew Gardens in recent weeks.
I think Kew Gardens probably too slow to win the race, but he's not probably too slow to finish in the first three.
I think Roaring Line looks a massive price at the moment.
He's a horse that I can't really get my head around. I'm just like,
Yeah.
will he definitely stay? Can he reverse the form of the Guineas?
Dismantled the field.
Yeah.
They ran the start that was very slowly run. Then you look at the way they just ended in a line.
He was
in
very weak in
behind
the bed.
him.
It's like as if nobody thought he'd get the trip.
Well,
and
he
now
was
he's-
the only one in the Guineas that came towards the stand side
Yeah.
and finished 5th, only beating the shed over 2 lengths in the end by Saxon Warriors. So
Okie doke. You got to put it. Okay, it's time to put something up here. Shane, you putting up a roaring line?
yeah, without the favourite from me at 7-2 Roaring Line.
I think Delano Roosevelt will run a cracker. I advise people to back him each way, but I think Saxon Warrior will win.
Are you? Sorry, before we mention, no one mentioned Joe Wells' horse.
I don't think he's good enough. I wouldn't be mad at all on the Ballysax form, to be honest.
And I think there's a serious Frankie factor in relation to that as well.
Spoke to Dermot Weld at Coram Park Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Dermot said that Frankie was over at Wednesday morning to ride it and work. Dermot said, I thought he worked workmanlike, satisfactory. I was happy, he was fine. Frankie was thrilled. That was so. Who do you believe, Dermot or Frankie?
Well, it's very rare for DK to say something like, something a bit kind of not very positive about one of his horses. So
Can we
that's
get a little DK
that's
impression
interesting.
from you?
No, he's a regular listener, viewer. But I just don't think the Irish middle distance horses, and I'm not including Saxon Warrior in that at the moment because he hasn't gone that route. I just don't think I think they're much of a muchness.
Yeah. So who are you putting up?
I'm putting up Young Rascal. I think he's a huge each way chance.
You are putting up Delano, eh?
Oh, Delano Roosevelt, yeah. But
Roaring
I think
Line.
Saxon Warrior will.
Okay. And Saxon Warrior is going to win the Derby. Just a reminder about that. Right, let's get some best bets for the weekend then. Actually, sorry, do you have some Saturday bets? You usually have a list as long
I
as
have
you're
two,
on.
yeah.
Two
I
for
have two.
Saturday,
The
yeah.
Diomed Group 3 at 3:10. Century Dream returned to winning ways last time at Ascot. Has great form on deep ground. Simon Christopher's stringer couldn't be in better form at the moment. I think Century Dream will win that. And earlier on the card, in the Princess Elizabeth Stakes, I fancy Lincoln Rocks. who was a bit unlucky to bump into one of Roger Varian's last time at Linkfield, but tough, consistent, should handle the ground. I just think ticks a lot of boxes in that 235.
Good stuff. Johnny, anything else on Saturday for you?
I actually don't, no. Going to look forward to Galway and Wexford, but I was talking to Ace hurling tipster Michael Mulvale.
Oh, yeah.
And we're both of the opinion they're short enough in the betting. Did give Galway to beat Kilkenny as my kind of...
You did, yeah?
In the handicap, but not as confident as we
do
looking
no
forward
wrong
to the
last week, John.
Okay.
No.
You do no wrong. Right, let's move on to our best bets of the weekend. A reminder, of course, Ladbrokes going best odds guaranteed on those multiples between 12 and 2 every day. So, Shane, let's start with you. Best bet of the weekend and give us a multiple as well.
Best bet of the weekend for me is going to be Caspian Prince in the Dash Tom, around about 8-1 at the moment. I'm going to put up Roaring Line in the Derby, and finally Eshtia in the Oaks. And hopefully that will play pretty handsomely come Saturday evening.
Good stuff. Jenna?
Best bet, 310 Epsom Saturday, Century Dream. Second best, Clubbable is in the finale on Friday, the 550. And for the third one, I'm going to go for Mendoza in the opening 2 o'clock at Epsom on Friday.
Good stuff. Johnny?
I'll give Sligo Rovers to beat Derry City as the bet of the weekend.
Yep.
Young Rascal each way as the next best, and I guess I'll go with Boom the Groom each way in the Dash as
Boom
the
the
third.
Groom each way.
Treble. That's retirement treble.
Actually, for a treble, I'd put in Cracksman, just to keep it a bit safer.
Yeah,
I
just
found
to
out this
anchor
week
us a
that
little
bit.
he who
Not
dares
yet.
doesn't win.
Okay.
But the Oaks is just too messy of a race.
Crazy
for me.
race.
Yeah.
But one to enjoy.
Absolutely one to enjoy. Well, I'm putting up Idaho without the favourite, and Saxon Wild is going to win the jockey as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week for more.